I am. I'm going to log off in a minute, but it's on very, very low. So
okay, you want to get going?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
So, welcome.
What episode?
Welcome to
What
EPAM.
is this? It's 30. It's actually this is a mixture of two podcasts. Yes,
It is. It
I
is.
think. Well, they're flip sides of the same podcast.
This is
so,
is the edge of the not the A side of the B side.
Edge of
But
the
we're
record.
talking on the edge of the world.
So we're the podcast on failure podcast.
That's right. And
This just
Innovation
started,
Lab.
you know that, right?
I'm excited.
Innovation Lab. This is our first episode, actually. We're
So
just
this is 39 or 40.
Yeah.
39, probably.
Yeah.
You guys did 39 without me?
No,
No, that
No.
includes
Freaking way. No,
I
we
thought
have
we were
like
on
80.
79.
Oh,
Yeah,
We
you're on
have 80.
79.
sorry. It's I'm
Plus the 3 you threw out.
It's a Biden moment.
All right,
It
cut.
was a Biden moment.
And action.
Oh, we started.
We're just starting.
I thought we just started.
No, we started
No,
earlier.
so what episode is it?
We're restarting. It's
Whoa.
episode 79.
Okay.
No, we did 79,
I
but
think
Dave
this is
threw it
Oh,
out.
I wasn't there. I'm sorry.
80.
So
No,
this is
no.
80. This is
Oh,
80.
that's right, 80.
This is 80.
Okay, so again, if we're redoing it, but I think we aren't.
No.
No,
Okay.
we're
Okay.
redoing the failure
Well,
museum one now.
So who's our guest?
Today I brought Sydney Robinson.
you're being part
yeah,
of
yeah, but I'd like
You can
for
introduce
Sydney
yourself.
to introduce herself.
Oh, yeah, well, you
Sydney's
just
from
ruined
Vessel
that.
Prosthetics,
Oh, sorry.
and she's part of the Mass Chat. Oh,
Mass
cut.
Challenge?
Can I say that? This is
Well,
not going to publish for a
You
while.
can say it just as long as you don't post it today.
Okay, it's not going to be posted today, but Sydney's part of the
Not like
Mass Challenge cohort
For
It's
24?
just starting off for 2024.
Congrats.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
And,
We had a whole bunch of those early on, a bunch of Mass Challenge folks a few
And
years ago.
I think every one of them failed after that.
No.
Didn't they?
Well,
No.
I'm so excited to break the mold.
You know which one is succeeding?
Uh,
Ironically,
There is one.
yes,
Which?
Road 2. Because they were a Mass Challenge winner years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
We need to officially say they're a great company.
They are.
And they are.
Absolutely.
Keep going, Jeff. You were
So,
saying something.
I was going to
I'm gonna
ask
check the camera while
if
you
Sydney
do
could say hello and introduce herself and Vessel
Oh, we gotta
Prosthetics.
start
and tell
recording.
her.
Hold on.
Did you not start
That's
recording?
the running joke. No, of course it's recording. That's the.
Don't-
It's just a running joke. Don't even
all right.
listen.
I swear it usually goes smoother than that, Sydney.
No, I like it.
This
This,
is
is
smooth.
exciting.
This is as smooth as we
no
get.
notes, no,
So go
no,
ahead, Jeff was
no
gonna say
podcasts.
So
Jeff was gonna say
Sydney's
something.
visiting us from Ontario today,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she's in Boston the rest of the week. She's
Like-
meeting with investors.
It's like the 51st state.
That's right. It is.
That's
it
a
is.
running joke.
Ontario?
It's like,
Yeah.
what, 10% of the population of Canada is there in
Oh,
Toronto?
yeah, probably.
It's a very densely populated area. But tell us about your visit. Tell us about your
Mother's
company. And what I'm really interested to learn from Sydney is, why is she doing this? Why is prosthetics her mission, and what got you into
Do you
this
get the
space?
sense that Jeff is the straight man? In the sense that, isn't that the expression? I didn't mean that the modern sense of
Oh,
the
you're on. Wait, you're on.
LGBTQ sense.
You're on. You're on
I
this
think Dave
one.
just got
alone.
canceled. Dave just got canceled.
Go ahead. Let me watch
Okay.
you dangle.
It was nice knowing you, Dave.
I meant the old
What did you mean, Dave?
Well, you know that old term.
I don't know what you're talking
Yes,
about.
you do.
In fact, I'm not even on this
Do you know
one
that
anymore.
term? Do you know the term?
Cut to the chase kind of thing?
No,
No.
it was
Oh, don't even.
from the comedy of.
Don't even
Yeah, you're
persist.
digging a hole.
No, comedy
No,
of the.
but
No,
you
he's,
can edit it
he's
out.
digging himself out.
No,
Okay,
I'm doing.
alright.
No, it's true though. You're old enough to remember. Biden is even older.
Oh, okay.
No,
One
the
political
straight
joke.
man was you'd always have the comedian, which
The
was
straight man would be
the
the person who was
who
the
set-
butt of the joke or the foil.
Oh, that's true. They didn't always have to be completely level.
Thanks, David.
Yeah. Well, you're setting.
You were playing it straight. In
Yes,
other words, you were doing a
yes.
serious,
And
earnest
what was the other
job,
person called?
which we would
The other
advise
person-
against.
The other person was
Which-
just the comedian.
He
Correct.
was the funny one. Like
Yeah.
I thought you were the beauty.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're both.
Okay.
You play both roles.
Thankfully, somebody
He's trying to
noticed.
say something then. Oh,
No,
go ahead.
I was
You were
enjoying
being
that.
serious.
I was enjoying that.
Okay, we're
I
gonna
was being
stop.
serious. Well,
Have you heard
actually, I
any of
really
our
am
other
interested.
podcasts before?
I really am interested in Sydney's why, and I want her to explain what she's doing this for. Why does she wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm going to dedicate my life to helping people?
What does she even do?
He's trying to ask
How about I
her.
start with that?
Oh, yeah. Good.
So I'm Sydney Robinson. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Vessel Prosthetics, and we're headquartered in London, Ontario, Canada. And what we're doing is we're empowering people with leg amputations to lead healthier and more comfortable lives.
Ooh,
Are you counting where we are? Or?
keep going. No.
Okay, great.
It's just words in there.
I,
Get
well,
old. Keep
it's
going.
So do you do the prosthetics or do you do sort of the whole person stuff?
what we're doing right now is we've designed a socket. So that's the
Okay.
part that goes onto the amputated leg.
And it's only legs.
Only legs.
Okay.
And the problem that we're solving is that an amputee's leg will change size.
There's a running joke. Can you replace his head?
I cannot, not yet. I'll get to that, I'm sure.
Okay.
But
Is Jeff paying attention? Yes, he is.
I am.
I think he's
I'm
getting very
totally
frustrated
immersed.
with you primarily.
that's-
No, not at all.
You go. Go ahead, interrupt her.
well, the leg changes size throughout the day and in the long term,
Right.
which leads to chafing inside of the rigid socket, like if you wore shoes that were the wrong size. And so what we've developed is this socket that can automatically adjust its size as an amputee's leg is changing throughout
Okay.
the day. And it empowers them to move comfortably, but then also helps the clinician as well.
Does it use AI?
No, it does not.
Ooh, how are you going to raise money?
That's a great question. That's what we're doing right now. We're raising our pre-seed round.
Jeff?
Well, relationships are really important in that regard. And so Sydney is visiting Boston to learn a little bit about our ecosystem. But in the meantime, she's getting a lot of action from Texas, right? So
Yes, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what you were looking for in
Why
investors and
Texas?
partners?
So well, first of all, we did the Techstars Accelerator there in the
Got it.
fall. So I was there, and you can build good connections when you're somewhere
I thought
competing in
Jennifer
person.
Jordan.
I thought
Texas.
Techstars was supposed to be the end all be all. You never had to do anything other than like go to the bank and then go to the beach after Techstars.
I mean, that would be
True?
great. I
I
think
think that's the
there's.
Stanford Biolab. I don't know if that's the same with Texas.
Okay,
Maybe.
but that wasn't true for you.
It was not true in the sense. I mean, we got a really great experience from Techstars, and we've certainly learned a lot, and we've got great connections that have connected us to important people. But
Do they have like 51% of your equity now?
they do not,
Okay.
thankfully.
Okay, just asking.
Yeah, always good. It's always a
Okay.
good question. But Texas is also interesting for us. The reason we wanted to go there for Techstars was because of the population. So diabetes is the leading cause of leg amputation, and it's high in the United
Texas.
States, but in the southern United States especially.
Is that because they eat a lot of barbecue?
I don't think it's the barbecue. I'm not sure.
What is it?
Well, it's lifestyle,
Yeah.
diet, and
Have you been enjoying
exercise.
that
and-
lifestyle, Mark?
I have my legs, but it's a super interesting mission.
Mhm.
So how's that for a good transition?
Or-
So basically your company aims to sell this solution
Mhm.
to amputees, and then
I think
You're-
make sure
you're-
Jeff is still on the camera.
yeah. But and that's throughout their kind of
You
lifespan,
are.
because I'm sure
Thank you.
that things change. You get bigger, you
Exactly.
get smaller,
Yeah,
gain weight, you lose weight, you get
Absolutely.
older, blah
Absolutely.
blah
yeah.
blah blah. And it fits with any prosthetic.
Yeah, think of it like Lego blocks, so you can mix and match with other prosthetic
Okay.
devices. So it's
Okay.
really well integrated into the prosthetist's workflow. We'll be selling to the clinician, so it's
Okay.
business to business model, and then the clinician will prescribe it to the amputee.
So I didn't look under the table. I don't mean to say that in a funny way, but are you an amputee, or is there someone in your life that inspired this?
No, so it's interesting. My co-founder and I met during the Medical Innovation Fellowship, which is a program in Canada modeled after Stanford's biodesign.
Sure.
And your co-founder clearly was bright enough not to show up here today.
That was exactly what happened. Yes, he's a very smart gentleman.
Yeah. Right.
And I clearly less so.
Yeah.
No, but we met during that program,
Okay.
and so that program, my background's in engineering, so
Okay.
mechanical and then biomedical. Really interested in the prosthetic space from that
Okay.
standpoint, but never wanted to be a clinician myself. Wanted to be
Okay.
on more the device design side, and was interested in entrepreneurship, which is why I joined that program. So during the program, the easiest way to learn about entrepreneurship over 10 months
Is
is
to be one.
Exactly. Find a problem and solve it. And so we came up with a list. As you can imagine, in medical space, there's no shortage of problems to solve. So we came up with a list of about 200 different needs and narrowed it down from a business perspective. So we were really looking at, what is the problem? How massive is that problem? What's the size of the market? And then what kinds of solutions already exist and what's possible? And then do we have the team in order to do it? So where engineers get the reputation for building something that they really like and then trying to shove it into a problem set, we really came at it from the opposite perspective of let's find a problem that is easily commercializable,
Commercializable, maybe?
commercializable, thank you.
Hey,
You
Don't
can
ask Mark.
make it and sell it.
his one
Exactly.
company, his one company failed, so he wouldn't know.
Oh,
Oh, that
Just
hurt.
one.
Ouch.
Just
But he
one.
didn't pay my bill either. So,
Who pays?
Jeff, ask a critical question.
So it's
Not a
interesting
setup
that
question.
no, the unmet need is a great place to start,
yeah.
and I like the fact that you narrowed it down to something that you felt was a commercial opportunity,
Mhm.
right? What have you learned about the community in the amputee space or the veteran space that you didn't understand before this?
You said
Where
you're
are the where are the challenges? What's that?
You're panelizing.
I'm still definitely running a coffee talk, right? It's a
Go
coffee
on.
talk.
Keep going.
That's okay.
Did you even follow the question?
Yeah, what did we learn? What did we learn in this process?
She was listening to the question.
She sort of
Yeah.
cut through the shit. I got it.
Dave and I were napping during the
Yeah, I was
questions.
like,
It was a good question. It was a good question.
Because, in Sesame Street, they had the two old guys up in the.
Yes,
Yeah, what were they called?
I remember.
were you one of them?
It's you and I. That's where I was
Yeah, but
driving.
what were they called?
I forget.
Bert and Ernie.
No,
No.
not Mortimer.
But yeah, we're the two old guys.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. They were
In the peanut gallery.
I saw
Peanut
a live version of that at Disney when I was like 7, and they terrified me because they were up in the corner
And now
and
you're
everybody
stuck
else
in
was
the
on
room.
stage.
That sticks
And
out.
yeah.
Now they're talking to you.
So go ahead. What did you learn? Was that it?
Yeah. What did we learn about the prosthetics
Probably
industry?
getting framed.
I think well, I learned a couple of things. First, how tight knit the market is. So it's a large market with a big opportunity, but everybody talks to everybody else. So what was interesting there was just the word of mouth factor about how people find out about new solutions. And then the other thing that we learned, which was interesting, is the restrictions that are placed on prosthetists, so on the clinicians, because of the reimbursement structure. So it's a fee-for-device market. So they're only reimbursed from Medicare and insurance after they've delivered the whole solution. So they're not paid like visit to visit. It's just
So
a
your
lump sum of
piece
reimbursement.
may not get it may not be reimbursable.
He's with us now.
I'm fully here.
Well,
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
glad.
now I can throw
Okay.
punches.
Which podcast is this now?
We're good. We are here with Innovation Blab, just starting.
Yes.
There you go. Checking in.
After
Sorry.
his 8 p.m. nap.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. So
Started thinking with both sides of the brain at the same time.
your piece is not
Better than zero
reimbursable
sides.
separate from the whole.
It is. So there's codes that are associated to different elements of the prosthesis. And so we were going, our device uses shock absorption in order to drive panels in and out against the leg.
Okay.
And so shock absorption is used in the prosthetics industry. So there's a code associated with that,
Okay.
which we can use. But what was really exciting was April 1st of this year, a new reimbursement code was approved specifically for adjustable sockets. So that really helps our launch later this year.
So wait a minute. So Jeff, you and I have seen at Boston Harbor Angel
Sure.
a lot of prosthetic devices. I thought they were specifically aimed at this problem. So where did they all go, and why are they not in competition, and why aren't you going to be one of those, what are they called, those rusty old cars or broken down cars along the road?
Chunkers.
No.
Lemon?
Clunkers.
No, the expression which is there are a lot of dead cars along the road to prosthetic nirvana.
Perdition.
Prosthetic nirvana.
Remember that?
I've never heard that
I
phrase.
can't say I've
David.
heard that one.
You're amazing on your
You
feet.
learn something new every day.
Oh, dear listener,
God help
I'm
us.
so sorry.
We apologize ahead of time.
Oh my
So why
God.
Or
aren't
in
you
real
one of
time.
those broken
Yeah.
down cars along the
And
road?
we'll
of,
apologize again.
the
Jalopes.
entrepreneurial road. You know this.
Nope.
Is it a metaphor?
No, we usually talk about landmines and graveyards and things like that.
Which is there's a lot of broken down dead cars along that road.
It's like North Carolina.
No, you're taking it too literally. You know, when somebody goes up to present yet another stupid AI approach, it's like, oh yeah, we've seen this before.
Sure.
So don't we have a common expression for that?
I haven't heard the one about cars, but
Oh, you haven't?
no, but broken down cars. But enlighten me. I'm
Well, he
enjoying
can't
this.
remember. That's
No,
the
this is
problem.
the beauty of it.
It's like-
Would that he could.
81.
Don't you remember?
Is that 81, right? It is 81.
What's
Is that-
81?
Is that Biden's age?
We're talking
Is
about
81?
1981.
No, is it Biden
I haven't
81?
checked his age lately.
I think he is 81.
82.
Oh, he's 82.
Yeah.
I must be getting up
We're in
there.
trouble.
Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
How are you not going to be one of these?
Roadkill.
We've seen.
Roadkill.
No, I can't believe you don't know this.
This is them on their
Is this
best
an analogy
behavior.
or metaphor? This
It's
is an
good.
analogy.
Yeah.
I think it's a
That's
poorly
an
built
analogy.
analogy. It's not an
No,
analogy
you know
that
this
holds
one.
water.
You're telling me you've not heard the analogy of, oh, there's a lot of broken down cars on that road towards whatever this business is doing.
Look,
You haven't heard that one?
no, but growing up in the
God.
Detroit area,
Did you hear it?
when I
What are your
did, I
dreams
see-
like at night?
I can't say that we say
He
that.
doesn't have
in
any.
Oh,
Canada.
really? Okay, so go
Way
ahead.
up
He has no
north.
dreams.
Oh, so anyways, how
In the
about
English.
there was a
He doesn't
question
have
there.
any dreams.
There was a question in
Yeah, so
there.
why are you not going to be one of the many businesses we've seen, I think, fail along that road?
Yeah, so there's a couple reasons. One of the ways that people tried to do this early on was using air bladders.
Air bladders.
Air bladders were not incredibly popular in the prosthetics industry.
Why? They made farting noises.
I don't think that's why.
Oh.
But they can tear, and then you have leakage, and so they weren't able to maintain the same levels of pressure.
But then your leg falls off.
Well, even your prosthetic.
Yeah, that would be very bad.
The rest of your leg fell off. That would be a huge problem.
And then the reambrsment as well. Yeah. So having an adjustable code now be available is a huge advantage.
Let me run with this.
Say something?
I am of value. I think many years ago, I think we had a guest on our podcast. I believe we're on one of the MIT Enterprise Forum things that we used to do.
Those are bad.
And she
was
building. She came out of UMass Lowell. She was building a company. I forget what it was, but her greatest claim to fame is she had an insurance expert as part of her founding team.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, so she raised a terrific amount of money.
Are you offering some of your services?
No. But what I've learned from that, and what little I recall of it, is that having somebody that understands the insurance stuff and the codes and how you get reimbursed, that's part of the secret sauce.
Absolutely.
The other part would be patents. So you talked about, this is not a gift to...
Yeah.
Is there a patent lawyer in the room? A good one, I meant.
Well, certainly not one you ever made.
That's true. So the question is, you described sort of these building codes being in existence, which then gives me the sense that there's, this technology has already been in existence in some fashion.
Is there a question?
There is. The question is, can you patent stuff with all these other things sort of surrounding
How
your
did you
area?
get from insurance to patenting?
Because if they have insurance codes, that means this shit exists elsewhere, which then precludes prior art, I guess, or is prior art, right?
Ooh.
What little you know about patents.
What did you smoke on the way here?
Honestly, I was going to ask you guys the same thing. I thought we agreed not to drink before the podcast.
Yeah.
No.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
Does the existence of this stuff in other areas
If you want
preclude your patent
So the
strategy?
easiest way to compare us to competitors, and then I'll answer the IP question, is
Somebody has to.
Is if airbags in your car were button operated. So if they were manually operated, by the time you knew you needed to operate the airbag, it's too late.
That's wild.
And that's the difference between a manual solution and an automatic solution.
Okay.
So there are manual solutions on the market that have panels and a tensioning dial like a BOA cable.
Okay.
And you can twist it and tighten it, which is great.
Jeff is going to say that's a stretch.
No, actually, I really like the analogy because
Come on.
this is self-adjusting, right? So this is something that actually adjusts with the patient as they swell during the day. And as somebody who swells up to 10 pounds a day, I can tell you this is a real problem.
Adjusted during the day.
So, okay,
It's
if
not
it
like a
swells
car
during the
accident.
day, is it because there's a sensor on this?
So ours uses the shock absorption. So
Okay.
it's taking every step an amputee takes. It's a mechanical solution
Okay.
so that they don't have to remember to plug the socket in. Something
Okay.
that's important to remember about the population is that these are typically people of the aging and or diabetic populations. So
Unless they're injury amputees.
yeah, so the problem is just that there's oftentimes cognitive impairments or poor dexterity, different things like this that make it really difficult to know when and by how much to actually make that adjustment.
Got it.
So that's one of the reasons why you need that automatic adjustment. And then in the patent space, we've patented our solution where we've got an office action for one of our patents, so we're coming up on patent, a granted patent, and we're doing a freedom to operate as well against some of our closest
So you had a good
competitors.
patent lawyer.
We have had a good
Not the
patent
ones
lawyer.
that I've hired in the past.
We've had a good one, yeah. We've been developing the IP strategies
See how I got there?
since we started the company.
I followed that.
I heard you don't have to pay if it's not good work.
Who pays?
Okay, so wait a minute. I'm still not.
Patent work is like open source software.
So Jeff,
Nobody
let's
pays.
talk about this.
Okay.
I am struggling. Sorry, we're going to ignore you for a moment.
Okay.
Noted.
I am struggling with that analogy.
Okay.
Actually, it is interesting. And if you weren't thinking, and a lot of people you're going to be pitching to probably aren't thinking. But still, there seems like a difference between two cars approaching each other at 30 to 60 miles an hour, and your ability to hit a button on the one hand, and the other hand, going down the street eating given the population you're talking about, your hot dogs and your ice cream and your popcorn and your soda, and saying, oh, my
It's
leg.
very specific.
Well, I know. I didn't say what kind of soda, though.
Okay.
And
Sugary.
my leg feels a little loose. I think I'll go adjust it. There's a difference in that and two cars approaching each other
absolutely.
at 60 to 120 miles an hour.
100%. No, I fully agree. In terms of the severity
So
in the
there.
moment.
So there.
So there.
So there.
The
Hence
message.
the contrarian comments.
No, it's just good. It's good. I appreciate a bit of a
Well,
pushback.
This is like our meetings.
No, it is. It's
DHA
important.
meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good to have pushback. The thing we're trying to illustrate with that is for people that don't have an amputation and can't fully grasp how debilitating the problem is, it's helpful to understand just how difficult it is to actually notice when you need to make a change. So a lot of people, again, the cognitive impairments, but also have a loss of sensation in the leg.
Right.
So now if you can't feel, right, if there's...
Wait a minute, what? Where's this coming in?
So you get neuropathy over the course of the day.
Stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Things get tired, things get sore, you lose a sense of feeling, right? So you're not necessarily feeling the
I
same.
see.
So you don't know to adjust it, but by the time you do
Oh.
adjust it, you've got nerve damage, you've got tissue damage,
there we
you've got necrosis that's
better.
happening, and if
I
that
see.
happens, you can die. So this is an important problem, hence the airbag.
I'm going to hire you on. You're doing a great job.
Well, the time
So
is
there.
different.
So there.
So there.
You know, one of the
No, but it is that important. I think this is one of the things that I want to stress is that amputees are at a disadvantage to begin with, and you're starting off with something that you could lose your life over. After you lose a limb from diabetes, you have about 5 years, right, on average. 5 years, Dave.
What of life?
Life.
No.
Life. The clock
Really?
starts ticking. You got 5 years.
Oh shit.
Yeah, on average. So if you can beat that
if it's a leg loss due to diabetes.
due to diabetes.
Oh.
So if you,
And
if
if
you
the leg hadn't been lost, how about if you just had diabetes and not the leg loss?
it could be 10, 15, 20,
Oh, I
25
see.
years.
it's a lifeline.
Then you-
Depends
so-
how you manage it.
The,
If you lose
the
a leg
losing
on
the
that-
limb is the problem.
It's not a
and
problem,
then-
is it?
And then
Isn't
from
it just a symptom of an advanced disease?
yeah, but it's also
its own problem.
its own problem because it comes from not being able to recognize the neuropathy in your feet means that I don't notice that I have a hot spot on my foot because I can't feel it. And if I can't feel it, I'm not going to do anything about it. But if I do something about it, I could save my foot.
Right.
So this automatic sensing and being able to sense it could save people's lives. It
I
could
would
save them
propose you need
from
a new analogy,
becoming an
but
amputee.
I get that point. That's interesting. Who would have known?
Have you been to the MIT Media Lab?
Oh, no.
We have
That
not, but we've heard
that-
lots about it.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
my only frame of reference for prosthetics is going to that
Yeah, Hughes
MIT
lab.
Hughes lab, which they had in the lobby. You know, they had a budget constraint of hey, give me something that's under $1,000 or how like mechanically a dozen different ways you could do this.
He's an interesting
It was
guy.
an amazing exhibit.
I think that was actually my first introduction into prosthetics was watching his TED Talk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like,
When
I
he
want to
made
do
his
that.
aesthetics taller and
Yeah,
shorter.
yeah,
Some of us in
Say,
the room may have not seen. Who is this guy?
We should take a field trip.
You should take a
Yeah,
picture.
so he's a dude that runs a lab at the Media Lab.
A dude.
A dude.
Okay.
Hugh, Herr.
Oh,
Hugh
does he
Herr.
replace the
No.
ill-fated
No.
Jay Ito?
No,
Oh,
He is back on Epstein Island again.
no, and no.
oh, oh,
No, he I think had
no.
he had a climbing accident, lost
Mhm.
limb or limbs
Both
as a
hands.
result.
But he's running the media lab.
No, he's running his own lab at the Media Lab.
I get it. So he's not.
And
Had an
it's
exhibit.
well funded. It's a very visible thing. And
Okay.
advanced mechatronics lab.
Yep.
Um,
Okay, so he is running a lab.
he's like
And what is this cool thing that you also?
Well, there's
behind it?
there's an exhibit at the Media Lab where you walk through the lobby and you can see. I think there's student projects or iterations
Right.
on different
right, so
prosthetics.
he works with amputees. He is an amputee.
Okay, but what's neat about his whatever?
He has created a really interesting ankle. And so the ankle has all these different, I'm sure he's created a bunch of different things, but what I know him for is the ankle that has a bunch of hydraulics in it so that as you're stepping on uneven ground,
Oh.
the way that our foot would just naturally
Yeah.
shift, prostheses don't often do that. And so he's come up with this way. Yeah, it's really interesting stuff.
Has he
You ought
got
to
an eye
re-
in
you ought
it?
to
I'm
reach out
sure
to him.
he does. I'm sure he
That's
does.
where he got
You
his
should
investment.
ask him.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah,
should.
Reach out to him while you're there.
Absolutely. Well, I'm meeting with someone who has done work with him in the past, so I'm slowly but surely getting connected. But if anyone online knows him,
Oh,
let me know.
there will
Oh, yeah.
not be many people.
I
on
can-
I can talk to
Be pretty much you and your
Yeah,
your business
his
partner.
email's right on the web. You can.
Right,
I probably
right.
can tell you
Okay,
what it is
so
later.
Jeff was going to say something.
No, I was going to say my friend Sean. That's why I went to visit. He was working on a football helmet with the MIT Media Lab and had gone to visit and brought me in there to meet them. So I can see if we can make a connection.
Yeah, that'd be
fun.
great. That'd be really great.
So
All right.
where were we? So I'm sorry. So you're
All over.
Oh yeah, we were. So to try to
Spin the
how
years
much
like
time?
this.
How much time do we have? We have a while.
We have
We're only 5
20,
minutes
20
in.
minutes. Yeah, 20 minutes. We're 5 minutes in.
Sorry. So you got this company. Stepping back, I'll recap without panelizing.
There's a lot of editing.
You've got a
that goes on post.
prosthetic
None.
that has a unique way of automatically adjusting itself.
Not the whole prosthetic.
No, I'm sorry. It's just from the knee down.
The socket.
Oh, it's just a
That's on
socket.
the top.
Okay.
I
And it
understood
automatically adjusts using AI or otherwise.
No.
Doesn't use it.
It does not use
But so that even somebody who has neuropathy, which is nerve loss or loss of sensation, it will automatically adjust you down.
Exactly.
It is hard to believe that, and this is the first time somebody's come up with
This
such
is
a
the
thing.
first time.
Oh, except for the airbags. Oh, but you had to
Except for
go
the
over
airbags, you have to pump those up yourself.
that. Okay.
Yeah.
I think our listeners just had to pull off the highway to get back.
I'm
trying to- so-
to follow us.
Well, so Jeff, ask a probing question so the rest of us can figure out what
A
we're doing.
profound question.
Yeah.
So how does this self-adjusting
No, I didn't say
prosthetic?
profound.
How does that provide either longevity or a better experience for
Yeah,
users?
that's a good question.
Are we
The 5
in
years.
fact
No, that's a
saving
good
lives with
question.
this alternative?
What about the 5 years? Can you fix the 5-year problem?
We are not going to make any claims about the 5-year problem
Oh,
yet,
come on.
but we would like to.
Well, is there any medical basis for that?
Medical basis for
Well, she's not going to run for 5 years.
extending the life of an amputee.
Yeah.
Theoretically, yes. The added
become
benefit
like a
of
runner?
isoform is you are able to reduce the pressure extremes that often lead to blisters, right? So if you're not wiggling and
How
wobbling
many
around
people
inside
die
your
from
socket,
blisters?
well, that's
That's the problem.
that's
It
how
leads,
a
to,
lot.
it leads to
What?
tissue
It leads
necrosis.
to- yeah.
That leads to infection. That
Really?
leads to infections that can't be combated because the body can't process antibiotics.
Do those also occur
So
with the
yeah,
speed of a
when
car
you're
crash?
when you're diabetic and you have organ failure,
smart.
right? Your liver's not processing medications the same way, so you can't get the medication bioavailable to the infection. That's the problem.
So let's talk about funding,
Wait a minute.
Sure.
Okay.
because I think we've knocked to death what the hell the thing does, how it might help
So we
somebody.
haven't fully expressed our skepticism.
Well, and then we're going to chop off one of your legs and make you a guinea pig,
Okay.
which I volunteered to do myself.
Me too.
Well, I'd love to. I'll tell a story. How about I
With
tell
a
a
Swiss
story?
Army knife.
How about I tell a story?
A
So
story.
I was
Okay.
at
Butter
an
knife.
angel event in Canada, an angel investor event, and
Okay.
there
An
was
angel event would be itself interesting. Because you
also
yourself
true.
may have passed.
Well, yes, I hope not, because
Okay.
this would be a
Weird.
terrible dream to have in heaven.
This is how you are there.
You're getting the full experience.
You are
So
there.
good. Thank you for joining us.
I do my best. I do my best. I try and keep
None of us took our meds this morning. We're just fully flapping in the wind here.
We're like clownish VCs without the money.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, I'm
Perfect
so
use of your
glad.
time.
You know, I actually think I got another thing I got to run.
Oh, my God.
Go ahead, story.
So the story is that
hell.
no, that one was great. It's just so we were at the event, and one of the investors had brought a friend of theirs that is an amputee. So she has an amputation above the knee, and I was meeting her for the first time, and we sat down and we geeked out over prosthetics. But what was helpful was I got up, I did my pitch. At the end of the pitch, I said, "Does anyone have any questions?" And she says, "Could I borrow the mic for a minute?"
Oh.
And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "You
Always
able?"
risky, by the way.
Yeah.
Very
Like Perry
risky.
Mason never asked the question
You don't know the answer to. That's right.
But
Remember that
I
show?
knew, but I know
Okay,
the
you knew
answer.
it.
I knew the answer.
Very risky.
And
Right.
so what she did,
You let
I'm
me
bold.
hear.
What can I say?
Yeah.
And so what she
Sure.
said was, "You able-bodied people don't understand. We've been here for
I'll just cut you
3
off.
hours at the meeting,
Yeah.
Right.
and I've had to excuse myself twice already to take off my leg, readjust it, and put it back
No.
on."
Really?
Twice within those 3 hours.
Yep.
She's young, she's active, she does not have neuropathy. But what happens is even just tiny, tiny, tiny changes in a leg size can lead to that discomfort. So what we're offering people is an increased comfort, and what that leads to is increased quality
That's a
of
great
life.
question. She sounds like she's educated and or well off enough if she's at an angel investor event.
She was the friend of the angel, right?
Friend of the angel,
So
yeah.
she might have been like the person the angel picked up.
She's like
on
the
side
idiot
of the
that you
road.
brought to an angel meeting named Mark.
I thought he was the beauty. What happened?
Loser.
So
hold on, there was a question there.
Oh.
So I was going to
we can only hope.
I was assuming she was a relatively educated person.
Mhm.
Why is it that she did not have some solution? And again, it wasn't like two cars coming at each other 120 miles an hour.
You're
relatively. Why didn't she just like take her even some string out and tie it on better, or take her air bubbles and blow them up? Why'd she have to leave the room?
So she has a socket they're typically made of carbon fiber. They're custom made to you.
Nanoparticles?
No nanoparticles.
Okay, otherwise that would get investment money.
But they don't adjust in size. So as the leg changes, you lead to discomfort,
why
right?
did she buy those?
Why did she
Why
buy
That
didn't
was
she
the
get
state of
an
the art
airline?
when she had her.
No, but that is the state of the art today. So
No.
that's the state of the
What
art.
about air bladders? Why didn't she have air bladders?
The air bladders are not widely
Not
accepted,
effective.
and they're not effective. People don't like to use them. Prosthetists don't like to use them. The clinician who's often prescribing these
So
devices.
is there no other solution that this well-off person who seemingly could have bought the Patriots, I'm elevating your literary license.
Oh.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
This is
Okay.
I introduced
Why
my
did
son
she-
last night to the movie Idiocracy, and
that
I feel
what
like I
you
woke
said?
up
Just
in
a
that
little-
movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
No.
Have you seen Idiocracy?
No.
It came out in 2000.
Dax Shepard's in it, right?
Yeah, Dax Shepard he
love
plays a
him.
lawyer in that movie.
wow.
It's
no
a
more.
great movie, but
The only intelligent person in the movie.
Clearly.
nope. So the movie's about how our society is going away from education and the learned things of civilization, and just kind of we're just getting dumbed down by the day.
By these
And-
podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely, and by bite-sized
podcast.
information and staring at screens all day and all this good stuff. But it was interesting because the
He tells a long
creators
story.
of the show
Look, it's my
were
first time
looking.
with
They
it,
were thinking, what are these people in the future, 500 years in the future, what are going to be wearing on their feet? What are they going to be wearing as clothing and all this other things? So they're all wearing like Costco T-shirts, like branded Costco T-shirts. And Costco's this, miles large building that everybody goes to, and there's colleges there, and there's all this other stuff
yes.
at a Costco. But I thought it was hilarious because everybody in the movie, or probably a third of the actors, are all wearing Crocs. And Crocs at the time were a tiny little startup company.
Oh, really?
And they were just coming on the scene.
Okay.
Right. And somebody looked at it like, that's the dumbest footwear I've ever seen. Can we put that in our movie? And nobody knew anything about Crocs at the time. And now everybody and their mom is wearing Crocs out there on the dry
I
dock.
think I saw some Birkenstock that looked like Crocs the other day.
Similar stuff. But
So wait a minute, we never got the answer, which is you're telling me this. Wait a minute. So maybe this is the answer. There is no competition.
The competition is
you got there. You got there.
I don't
knew you'd
believe
get
it
there.
though. I just don't believe it.
it's manually adjustable sockets. So it's those sockets you can twist a dial and you can tighten it.
The airbag on a clicker.
No, that's a terrible analogy. This is more like the automatic steering for the blind person.
Yeah, but again, if you have to go to
Sure.
the bathroom, take your leg off, make an adjustment, put it back on so that you can be comfortable in public,
I
and it
can't
has to happen
effing
multiple
believe.
times
So
per
you think
day.
There's no memory foam or anything that works for this?
No.
Nothing.
Way.
So essentially, what Sydney and
Way.
our team have created is that solution,
well,
that
tell us
memory
what the
foam,
technical
all the
solution
things that
is.
you're
Mark
looking
wants
for.
to know what the technical solution
No,
is.
Mark wants to know what's your funding strategy.
Great question. So
See, great question. Unlike yours,
Mine even better.
pay no attention to him.
Okay, keep
we
going.
raised a friends and
Okay, Mike,
family round early on. So that involved the Techstars program that we did, a family office in Canada, and a few angel investors
Okay.
and family members.
Okay.
And then we also matched that with a lot of non-dilutive funding. So the Canadian government has quite a few non-dilutive.
Yeah, Canada's full of
opportunities.
money.
Yeah.
Well, and
Widely
Canada's-
accessible money as well.
Yeah,
It's very-
especially if you
Especially
want to
early
stay
on.
there, right?
Yeah.
not easy, but easier to get than here in the States.
Right.
Yeah. And very supportive of underrepresented groups like female founders. And
Do
so
they
we've
need
been,
Trump up there, by the way? In Canada?
we're okay. I think we're okay.
I think
I was
they're
just
building a
wondering.
wall. I'm pretty sure they're building a wall.
And Mexico's going to pay for it.
Have you seen The Handmaid's Tale?
Oh, I
Yes.
know what
Yeah,
it
Yeah,
is.
we're devolving into that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
That's a different podcast.
if you know people in Canada, just keep them on your speed dial. Like,
So-
build those relationships.
Okay,
this-
so
wait, let me persist.
And now we're raising a pre-seed round.
Okay,
Oh,
which wraps that up.
pre-seed.
Yeah.
Okay,
When's Series A?
Series A will be
post-seed.
post-seed day.
Yeah.
You guys have done this before.
Yeah, how much are you raising? Oh, you can't tell us. We don't want to know.
No.
We don't want to know. But what's your rough timetable for raising money?
So we're raising our pre-seed now. Once we close this one, we're going to raise again in the typical kind of 18-month time frame for the seed, and then a couple years after that for Series A.
You should have her talk to
Oh no,
the woman that
He's
was
being
on our
serious.
podcast.
So he's got a serious voice.
that she
Yeah.
just announced she raised a huge amount of money like 2 weeks ago.
Who's he talking about?
And
What
she was in
podcast?
the Mass Challenge program.
On this podcast?
Yeah, remember we talked
And
to her.
then
She
she
was the
didn't
one with
fail?
the
That's unusual.
that had you took pictures of warts and Remember her?
No.
She just raised like $68 million.
No way.
68?
No.
If my phone-
Our former co-host?
Yes.
No.
And I'm drawing a blank.
No.
I'll get you her name and I'll
Totally
she would be
unexpected.
great.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You know, she
Maybe
was
She's
a
on a
Jenny's.
master
brain
The
cells.
Jenny's. Yeah, she just raised a
No.
ton of money, worked on the
way.
insurance stuff. And so
Well,
I don't want to talk about her other than she had a system using AI to take pictures of genital warts and other lovely things.
yeah.
Jenny's.
Yeah, and because
Conover.
she had
What's the name?
Susan
Conover.
Susan Conover. That's right.
Yeah.
And she joined us for a number of these
Well, wait a
podcasts
minute.
for a
She does
while.
not.
But she's female founder, Mass Challenge.
68 million.
No effing way.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look it
I'd
up.
love
You've
to.
got it
I'd love to
confused.
chat.
Well, you
That'd
have to
be
be
great.
a co-host. Apparently, you have to be a co-host. If the guests fail, the co-hosts apparently
Yeah.
do well.
You could look up,
Except
well, I forget the name of the company, but you can probably look her up if you've got your LinkedIn.
They changed the
open.
name. Yeah, they changed the name. Oh,
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about Paul Kent. While we're talking about
Sure.
Susan, let's you mentioned Paul
No
before,
way.
and he was part of the inspiration for.
Well, congratulations,
But she
Susan.
recent
did what
wins, but-
Do you think she still watches the podcast?
I'm
I
certain that
doubt-
nobody normal watches this. But she would be good to talk to because she went through
Susan
that.
Conover,
Yeah.
co-founder at Piction Health. They changed their name
yeah,
recently.
that's
It was
wild.
Yeah,
it was
Piction.
originally called
Make
something
sure
else.
Jeff's. Oh, we love
But
Yeah,
Susan,
that's her.
Susan's amazing.
Yeah, she's
No
really good.
way.
She's a Mass Challenge.
But what was the name of it before Piction Health?
Oh,
Had another name. She was just very funny because part of what they took pictures of were, things in the genital area, and she has like a very tweety voice. So Dave and I sort of enjoyed interviewing her once or meeting with her, and she goes, "I take pictures of people's jennies."
Oh.
Jenny's.
A very soft, gentle little
Oh, no,
voice.
it was said with dripping sarcasm. She was good.
She was very good.
She was good. She had the
but
sense
she
not
did
to get
exactly what
close,
you
so-
need
I
to
swear.
do.
Go watch Idiocracy tonight, and then this will all make sense.
She's
I don't know
living
what happened, but it's
Living it.
contagious. So be
It
careful.
is.
You mean the podcast? Or what she's doing?
All right.
I can't effing believe she raised
She
$68
was-
$68 million.
She would be an example of
What's it say in
persistence.
there?
That thing
It's just
was
it's
going
Piction
along
Health.
doing nothing forever.
But if I go
Wow,
on
there
sort
you
of
go.
crunch,
Persistence it is.
crunch base is what I like to look at.
That's why
for
persistent
the fun.
founders
Yeah.
win, right? You just keep going.
Remind me
Just gotta
again.
keep
I'll
fighting.
do the email for you.
Thank you. I
before-
appreciate
before we
that.
end.
Yeah, that'd be
That's
great.
what we do
That's
here on
great.
Failure, the podcast, or whatever the hell you renamed it to.
It might be painful, but there's benefits.
Okay, Jeff, another intelligent
Because
probing
maybe
question.
her
Crunch base,
investors
so-
would be interested too.
Founded October 2017.
Right after being
No.
on Failure, the podcast.
Oh, yeah, right.
It says 6 million.
Well, 6,
Oh.
68, 6.8. Look, I'm not real
Mark.
precise.
Mark.
There's a decimal point missing.
Mark.
Well,
It's
all right,
okay.
$7 million.
You want
So
to-
would you like to raise $7 million?
You are-
I would.
I'd love to.
That's
Actually,
US,
that'd be
by the way,
great.
not
Yeah.
Canadian. 'cause
Yeah.
That's really like $4 million.
You're not
So,
qualified for
oh,
the president.
One Canadian joke.
$4.
We're fact checking in real time.
And a couple of loonies.
In a couple.
See,
I
know
said
that word.
loonies in Texas, and someone was like, "You call them what?"
Loonies.
Oh, also another
That's the coin.
Money.
another one of my favorite innovators in mass connected to Susan's program is Joe Kavidar. Joe's
Yeah.
great. Joe's a dermatologist, was part of Partners.
Oh.
And I'd asked him to join my medical board, advisory board, when I was at that other large company I was with. And he was great. He was awesome.
He had the sense not to be on this podcast.
Yeah.
But Susan's,
Okay.
But he
Susan's
did
a
join
great
the
connection.
medical board.
Wait a minute, you had a probing question you were going to
How can we help you? What can we help you with? Sid?
By deleting this podcast.
Never
Beyond
publish
letting me
those.
leave
We're
the
not
room.
going to help anybody except
Right.
ourselves.
No.
But okay.
Beyond your funding and your raise right now, what other support do you need from the community in the center of the universe in Boston?
The center of the
Oh.
universe.
We
And
for
this is, of
MedTech it
course,
is, but
We are the heart.
we're still learning that things happen outside of Boston.
Yeah.
But what other things are you looking at? Is it building your village? Is
Certainly,
it
yeah.
reimbursement? Do you need regulatory support? What other flavors of support?
I would say manufacturing, honestly. I think
Okay.
that you and I spoke about that a little bit today, and
Yeah.
that's one area that I'm really curious to
We're
dive
not like
deeper
a hub
on.
of that, are we? Do we know how to manufacture anything here?
Well,
We have
Jeff
people
certainly
for that.
seems to.
Who?
I said Jeff certainly seems to.
You do manufacturing?
Of course, absolutely.
Where? Here?
Design for manufacturing.
Oh, I see.
yeah,
I see.
and also setting up a CGMP facility. I mean, there's clients that are manufacturing in the Bronx. I mean, you can
Yeah.
manufacture anywhere in the
I
U.S.
thought they just did beer down there.
We were talking about Omnipods by
Right.
Insulet earlier. You know Insulet? It's a
No.
wearable patch
Yeah.
for insulin pump.
Yep.
And
Didn't know the name. But
so
saw one the other day.
they are manufacturing 90 units per minute in Acton, Mass. I mean, they're right in my backyard. They hired 800 people from the community, and
Who
their
knew?
their value,
Not you.
their cost, their cost per unit plummeted. Their quality went through the roof, and they
Including South
onshored
Acton or just
everything.
Acton?
Everything. Just
I'm sorry,
act-
what, relative to what? When they onshored it?
Yeah, when they onshored it.
No.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
No.
And they brought in an expert from the Pepsi brand to fix their operations.
Wait a minute.
So you
that
can bring in
sounds
people
like
from outside of the industry.
John Scully?
No, Chuck Pulke.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know who Scully is?
From
I
like
think
the
so.
X-Files. Scully.
Oh.
Am I dating
You know the
myself?
X-Files?
Oh
It was a
wow!
great show.
It was.
So there was this company called Apple Computer. Long time ago in the Wayback Machine.
Well, Scully was.
They called him Wozniak.
and then there was
No,
there
yeah,
was
yeah,
Steve
no.
Jobs. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Steves,
You know him.
and then Steve Jobs kind of was
Kick
thrown
the
out.
bucket.
Yeah,
Oh,
No,
They kicked him
no,
out.
he
long
ultimately
before
did.
he kicks the bucket.
He
was asked politely
He
to
was
leave.
thrown. He hired his replacement, John Scully, who was the PepsiCo CEO.
Sure.
And he had the famous line when John was trying to decide whether or not to leave Pepsi and join Apple.
Mhm.
Steve looked at him and said, "Do you want to continue selling sugar water to kids, or do you want to change the world?"
Wow. By selling
And then,
addictive technology.
Jobs and then Jobs
job.
was out of the job
Sure.
not long after that,
Jobs out of a job.
Yeah.
It was. But
and then
in
they
the end,
reversed it.
he persevered.
he persevered.
And he raised more than 6 million or 68.
Well, I'll show you later. I'll
Okay.
show you her.
Yeah.
She actually.
Oh,
my
does
toddler,
some
my
a
toddler
question.
stuff.
no, my
You were
toddler
asking a
is
question.
really excited about that.
Or maybe not.
No, I just think it's important that we offer support to
Okay,
entrepreneurs.
well, we will moral support. Prosthetic.
I don't need as much of that, actually.
You won't find it here.
The other stuff is better.
Thank
You know, there's a boat right there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so let's bring this to a close.
Let's wrap it up.
Wrap it
Whatever
up,
that
Mark.
just
Wrap it
was.
up. Oh,
Whatever that was.
Mark, wrap it up.
Congratulations.
Thank
On
you.
I
what?
like what you're
On
doing.
what?
Oh,
Thank
and
you.
also wait. Tell us about your recent award that you won.
Oh.
This was important.
Sure.
About a month ago.
I'd love to. Yeah, a month ago I won it's a bit of a mouthful, the Spring Women-Led Impact Investor Challenge, which is a program out of Canada.
Was there money involved?
Yes.
Oh, good.
150,000 Canadian. So
Oh, that's a lot.
$7.
$10.
7,
50
10, say. But it was through a special purpose vehicle, so we were actually
Okay.
able to bring on a bunch more investors and increase that 150. And we're closing that out today, so I actually find out how much
So
that
you're
will
going to
be.
acquire your first
Congrats.
company?
Acquire my first company.
Yeah, go buy a company.
Sure.
Oh.
Wasn't part of the plan, but if we can adjust.
Well, if Mark can take 6 million into 68, then you should be able to take 150,000 and do
Oh.
158 million.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
I think
Close.
we can help by making connections.
You can
to
get
people.
3 Wendy's for that, I think.
No,
Oh,
it's
McDonald's.
you've got to get it right. Timmy's.
Are you gonna
Timmy's.
are you
Are
gonna-
they Timmy's
Good
now?
old Timmy.
Are you going to
Wait,
summarize it?
Tim Hortons?
No,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
that's penalizing them. All not
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do it.
Well, Jeff's, what did we learn today?
I'm still gonna have to work that out. It's gonna take me a couple days.
What did we learn
I'm
today?
gonna have to go back through
we learned
this.
that
and-
she's
We
got a
learned
novel
that you
solution.
really do not love airbag
Okay.
analogies. That
Oh
is
yeah,
what we
no,
learned.
not airbag. The analogizing a prosthetic device to 2 cars approaching each other at 120 miles.
Not
an
a
hour.
fan of that one.
Okay, so I think what we learned is though you're saying the prosthetic market is in desperate need of automatically adjustable prosthetic devices
Dynamic
for
ones.
dynamic prosthetic devices for a population that's large, both figuratively and literally. And
That desperately needs
it. That desperately needs
to
it
prolong their lives
needs.
and quality of life.
Equality of
I
life. You got
see.
it. Yeah.
And
See,
somehow
I
we
picked
haven't
up on
we haven't
You're
figured out
very
this
good.
yet. There's some connection between the prosthetic device and increasing the lifespan.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Potentially.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Potentially.
Okay. So this will until
Not making any claims.
well,
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Well, until they
There you
make
go.
claims, they can make the claim.
Yeah.
They just have to put it in the right aisle at Whole Foods, right?
Right. Yeah.
Costco.
You got it.
Costco.
You got it.
Costco.
Okay.
Costco for scalability.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.